and my dog wants in. Oh, Debbie's got it. Good. So the correction of error. And I ask a question to the Holy Spirit. I say, why does A Course in Miracles say that our brother is always right? I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that's a pretty good question. Why would A Course in Miracles say that my brother is always right? So here's the Holy Spirit's answer. Oh yeah, I remember this answer. It's such a helpful answer. Our brother is always right because our brother is reflecting thoughts that are in one mind. This does not mean that what he is saying is correct at the level of form. It means that it is always a perfect reflection of thought within the one mind. It cannot be anything else. Now, if you don't understand this, then it might be helpful to remember that bodies are communication devices. If you for a moment let go of looking at a body as a person who could be right or wrong, and instead you look at a body as a communication device which simply reports the thoughts that it is hearing and believing, it's always right. If I say to you, Cliff, I'm going to use you, okay, but I don't mean this at all. But if I say to you, Cliff is a jerk, it does not mean that Cliff is a jerk. Cliff might be a really nice guy. But I am accurately reporting to you a thought that is in the mind. And in fact, if any of you think of it for a moment, you've shared that thought. Maybe not specific to Cliff. Maybe you never thought Cliff was a jerk, but you thought someone was. Right? So I'm always right. I am always accurately reporting a thought that is in our shared mind. In fact, it would be absolutely impossible for me to do anything else. I can only report a thought that is in our shared mind. So I'm always right. I'm always an accurate reporter. So our brother is always right because our brother is reflecting thoughts that are in the one mind. This does not mean that what he is saying is correct at the level of form. It means that it is always a perfect reflection of thought within the one mind. It cannot be anything else. If the thought our brother is reflecting is ego gibberish, it does not mean that he is wrong. These thoughts are within the one mind, and he is reflecting them correctly. However, since it is the reflection of meaninglessness, it does not require correction. In order to correct meaninglessness, we would first have to give it meaning. That would be an error of listening to ego within our mind. Now, I recently had this experience as well, so it's very timely for me. It's interesting how we can be reading from 2006, and always these messages seem perfectly timely. But recently, a friend emailed me, and the friend was telling me, what I think. You think this, you want this, etc., right? This is what you think, this is what you want. And there was an email there in this chain of emails which really showed that I had said the opposite. And what my ego wanted to do was highlight the sentences where I had said just the opposite and send them back to my friend and say, no, I said this. I didn't say what you're saying. I said this. But I did not send that email. And everyone here in the house knows why I didn't, because I shared it with them. For me to do that would be me listening to ego. And that's never okay for me to do. That's never helpful for me to do. Never. Not if my purpose is awakening. It was helpful to notice that I wanted to do that. It was even helpful to notice that I wanted to do it quite a bit. It came up in my mind several times. In fact, when I first chose not to do that, the next thing the ego in my mind said, well, let's just save this email so that if we want to do it in a couple of days, we can. I've already deleted the email, so I can't do it in a couple of days. Because it's never okay for me to listen to my ego. Not for me, not with my purpose. It's just not. So I'm not going to do that. I just absolutely won't. But the ego in me wanted to. So see, my brother, the one who wrote to me, is reflecting, we could call it, using Spirit's language here, ego gibberish. But if I get involved in that and I say, no, no, I said blah, 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 I'm jumping into the same ego gibberish. I'm giving meaning to the meaninglessness. So I saw the desire to correct my brother. I saw the opportunity to correct my brother and to appear very right. I saw the opportunity to get into a wonderful back and forth battle with my brother. But I chose not to. Because I want awakening. That's the real answer. Because I don't want to listen to ego at all. And I totally recognized it as ego. But notice what Holy Spirit is saying again in this paragraph. Notice it says, if the thought our brother is reflecting is ego gibberish, it does not mean that he's wrong. All right? It does not mean that he's wrong. These thoughts are within the one mind, and he is reflecting them correctly. So my brother is simply, and this body is simply a communication device. And these thoughts that it is reflecting are thoughts that are in our one mind. I cannot call my brother wrong. I cannot call my brother wrong. Yes, you are accurately reflecting, communication device, thoughts that are in our mind. You couldn't do anything else. In this particular case, the reflection is not Holy Spirit, it's ego, which means it's meaningless. And since it is the reflection of meaninglessness, it does not require correction. In order to correct meaninglessness, I would first have to give it meaning. That would be an error of listening to ego in my own mind, which was honestly something I was not willing to do. At the bottom of my heart, I was not willing to do that. So I let the opportunity pass. Holy Spirit says, when we listen to Holy Spirit, we see our brother as he truly is. We see there is no error in him. There is only perfection. So a very short message, but very, very helpful. And to be honest, I don't know if I got it this first time, because my memory of when I got this, when it dawned on me as a realization, was only about a year ago. A year ago would have been, we're talking probably winter of 2009, and this is dated fall of 2006. So it sounds like it took about 2.5 years for this message to actually result in a true realization within my mind. But I remember talking to a brother. We were actually at church. at our church in North Carolina, we always had a buffet lunch afterwards. And we were at the buffet lunch, and he was sitting across from me. And I remember he started sharing spiritual thoughts. Well, I'll just tell you what went on in my mind. Spiritual thoughts where my mind was saying, he's not right. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. Okay? This is my ego mind. He's not right. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. And the ego wanted to correct my brother and tell him the right interpretation. And at that moment, the realization came into my mind as clear as day that my brother was not wrong. He was accurately reflecting ideas in our mind. And my desire to correct him just completely disappeared. That's when this teaching came to me as a realization. My brother was not wrong. I mean, that's exactly how I saw it. He was accurately reflecting ideas that are in our mind. And at that, I was able to just let it pass, just let him keep on talking. I was able to just sit there and listen to him and enjoy the conversation, and the desire to correct completely died away. Okay, so I'm going to let go of the mic and see if anybody has anything they want to share about this particular message.